Okay, again, good afternoon, San Benito CISD. Let's give everyone a howdy. Although we came back on Thursday, today is the day that we come together to celebrate the start of the 2024-2025 school year. And before I get started, I do have a little bit of a cold, but I'm here, ready to go, and ready to get the day started for gathering us together. So at this time, I want to first welcome and thank the San Benito High School cheerleaders under the direction of sponsor Janie Rios for greeting us here this afternoon. So please give them a round of applause. Also, the San Benito Bells, the pride of San Benito, under the direction of Isabel de la Cruz and Assistant Director Ricardo Delgado. Please give them a round of applause. And to give us some energy and boost and try and put us pep in our step is the Mighty Greyhound Band drumline under the direction of Jorge Mujica and our district's Director of Bands, Mr. Didier Mendoza. Let's give them all a round of applause. Before we get started, our formal start, we're going to go ahead and do our traditional roll call. So we're going to start with departments. Departments, get ready, and then we're going to head on over to our secondaries, alternatives, middle school, and then our elementaries. So we're going to begin. Roll call. And roll call, I want you to stand up and say howdy. Let's hear it for our academic services department. The after-school program. Our athletic department. We know they're out working out, getting those kids ready for football, right? Career Technology Education Department. Teachers, everyone CTE teachers. What about our CNP department? Please stand, give us a howdy. CNP. Our counselors, counseling department, please give us a round of applause. Our HVAC energy, air conditioning, you're the best people in the building right now. We will love our air conditioning during summer. Our FACE department, let's give it here for our FACE department. Federal Programs and Migrants Department, please stand. Our Business Office Operations Payroll Prim, please stand. Give us a howdy. Our Health Services and Human Resources Department, please stand to give us a howdy. Everyone's busy in this department right now, getting everything ready for you. The KSBG TV PR team, we'll give everyone a big howdy from me to you. Keeping us safe throughout the year, our Police and Security Department. Let's hear it for our Police and Security. Special Services Department, Special Education. Keeping that technology going, our IT Technology Department, please stand, be recognized. And we couldn't get here today if it wasn't for our Transportation Department, please stand, be recognized. And getting our buildings ready across the district throughout the summer, and especially here today, let's hear it for our Maintenance Department. Now, let's hear it for the big school, San Benito High School. Give us a howdy. Veterans Memorial Academy, give us a howdy. Our alternative schools, Rodriguez, Hester, and Positive Redirection Center, please stand, give us a howdy. Our middle schools, Berta Cabasa Middle School, where are you at? Collegiate and Go Academy, please stand, be recognized. Miller Jordan Middle School, please stand, be recognized. Look at the Cougars, they're ready. Riverside Middle School, where are the Bulldogs? They say they play to win. Let's see. Now our elementaries. Angela Gilial Elementary. Dr. C.M. Cash Elementary, where's your howdy? Dr. Raul Garza STEAM Academy. Wow. Now they came to play and win. Ed Downs Fine Arts Academy. Frank Roberts Elementary. Fred Booth Elementary. Which is also our Global Leadership Academy, by the way. Judge Oscar de la Fuente Elementary. La Encantada Elementary. La Paloma Elementary. They even brought their horse. Rangerville Elementary. And the last howdy coming from Sullivan Environmental Science Academy. Again, welcome everyone. Welcome to the 2024-2025 school year. We'll begin with our presentation of colors. Will everyone please stand? Gentlemen, please remove all headgear for the presentation of colors by members of the San Benito Navy Junior Officer Training Corps Color Guard under the leadership of Navy Science Instructor Ruben Esquivel. Performing the national anthem for us today is Sofia Hernandez. Sofia is the member of the class of 2025 and a member of the San Benito High School Greyhound Chorale. She is also an all-state vocalist. She is the daughter of Omar and Rebecca Hernandez and performs under the leadership of Director of Choirs Irario Martinez. Sofia?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free
Please remain standing for the pledges and invocation. Leading us in the pledge of the United States and Texas pledges, we have San Benito High School senior Leandra Marie Machuca. Leandra is a varsity cheerleader and a member of the National Honor Society, powerlifting team, and several other academic and curricular student organizations. Bringing us the invocation for today is Kimberly Rochelle Reyes, a junior at San Benito High School. She is a member of the Mighty Greyhound Marching Band and a member of the Green Power Club and has participated in the national championship in that division. She was honored as a Student of the Month. Her Christian faith and willingness to help people are her greatest strengths. Please help me welcome Leandra and Kimberly as they provide the pledges and invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, indivisible. Thank you.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you with a grateful heart for all your many blessings. Padre Celestial, venimos ante ti con un corazón agradecido por todas tus muchas bendiciones. We ask that you grant protection, encouragement, wisdom, integrity, kindness, grace, and truth upon our whole school community. Le pedimos que nos brinde protección, aliento, sabiduría, integridad, bondad, gracia y verdad a toda nuestra comunidad escolar. We declare that we will witness an outstanding achievement of all students and continued success of our great school district. Declaramos que seremos testigos de los logros sobresalientes de todos los estudiantes y del éxito continuo de nuestro gran distrito escolar. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Amen. En el nombre del Padre, Hijo, Espíritu Santo, Amen.
Thank you, Leandra and Kimberly, for joining us here today. We hope you have a great 2024-2025 school year. Thank you both. And Sophia. Thank you, Sophia. You may be seated. Now, let me introduce the platform guests we have here on stage this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, as I call your name momentarily, please stand. On our board of trustees, we have President Orlando Lopez. It's also Mr. Lopez's birthday today, so happy birthday, Mr. Lopez. Dr. Ariel Cruz, Vice President of the Board. Rudy Corona, Secretary of the Board. Frutoso Gomez, the Board of Trustees member. Crystal Hernandez, Board of Trustees member. Alex Reina, Board of Trustees member. And Israel Verial, Board member trustee. Members of the Superintendent's Leadership Academy, Acting Superintendent of the Schools, and the lone finalist for Superintendent, Mr. Fred Bettis. Recently named Assistant Superintendent for Academic Services, Delia Cornett. Executive Director of Administrative Services, Abraham Gallegos. Chief Financial Officer, Monica Mata. Executive Director for Operations, Mr. Ray Saldana Jr. And yours truly, Luis Gonzalez, Director of Public Relations. Also joining us on the stage is Jennifer Esquivel, Collegiate Academy teacher, Secondary Teacher of the Year. And Brianne Castillos, Sullivan Environmental Science Academy teacher, Elementary Teacher of the Year, and Regional Elementary Teacher of the Year. We're going to switch things up a little bit today. We're going to get our motivation started, our focus started with our guest speaker today. Today we have a great guest speaker who will help us get ready to get energized, focused, and motivated with a clear message that will resonate throughout the whole school year. Our speaker today is a 3-time Wall Street Journal bestseller author. His story and his message of the coffee bean has been shared with thousands of audiences worldwide. USA Today calls him the most in-demand keynote speaker in America. San Benito, let's give a big welcome to Mr. Coffee Bean himself, Mr. Damon West.
All right, all right. Hey, thank you very much for that. Thank you so much. How's it going, man? Good to see you. Excellent. How y'all doing? Man, it is so great to be here, and your energy level is through the roof. It's incredible, y'all. Y'all should be so proud. Give yourselves a big round of applause. I'm so excited, man. This is good. And I want to tell y'all, on the front row, y'all did a great job with the colors. When the flags came right in your face, you stepped aside, you improvised. That's what life is about, right? We're talking about rounding up success today. In order to round up success, we have to have the right way of thinking. In order to think the right way, sometimes we need a new message, a new way of thinking. Because oftentimes in life, we're handed down this knowledge from people that came before us, and sometimes the knowledge was good at the time when they got it, but as we carry some old knowledge with us, it becomes outdated. And we can't really use it anymore. It's a very changing world. Public education has changed a lot, hasn't it? We're kind of under attack here in Texas right now, public education, right? So now, more than ever, we've got to come together and round up success and find a new way of thinking. That's what I have for you today, a new way of thinking. A little anecdotal story about old thinking. I heard this story on the radio the other day. This guy and his wife were going to a Christmas party. He was at his wife's family's house. And so he gets to the Christmas party at his in-laws. His wife is in the kitchen. They're making the Christmas dinner. She's with her sisters, and she's got the Christmas ham. And his wife takes out a meat cleaver and chops the ends off the ham, sticks it in the oven. The guy's floored. He's like, baby, why did you do that? Why'd you assault the ham like that? She looks at him like he's crazy. She's like, you have to do that to cook a ham. Don't you know that? Don't you know you have to cut the ends off the ham to cook a ham? He said, I've never heard that before. He said, where did you hear that? She said, my mother. Guess who's at the party? His mother-in-law. So he tracks his mother-in-law down. He says, listen, I was in the kitchen with your daughter a while ago. She took the ham out and she cut the ends off of it. I've never seen that before. She said, you're the one that told her that's how you cook a ham. His mother-in-law looked at him like he was crazy. She's like, yeah, don't you know that's how you have to cook a ham? He's like, I've never heard of that. He said, who told you that? Guess what she said? My mother. Guess who's at the party? Abuela. So he goes and tracks down Grandma. Granny's over there on the couch. She's minding her business, drinking some eggnog. He said, hey, listen, Granny, I was in the kitchen. Your granddaughter's in there, cuts the ends off the ham. She said her mom said to do that. Her mom said, you're the one that said that's how you cook a ham. He said, why do you have to do that to cook a ham? And she looked at him very pleadingly. She's like, oh my God. She said, whenever I was growing up, the ovens were real small. And in order to get the ham in the oven, we had to cut the ends off the ham to get the ham in the oven, right? Sometimes our way of thinking gets outdated and we need something fresh, a new message. That's what I have for you today. A new way of thinking. This way of thinking right here is about finding the opportunity in the adversity in life. In every situation of adversity, there's going to be an opportunity in there for you to grow, an opportunity for you to become a better version of you. In fact, I believe the best version of you is on the other side of whatever adversity is in front of you. But here's the catch, the new way of thinking to round up success. We have to go through that adversity, through that difficult thing in front of us to meet and shake the hand of the man, or woman we were always destined to be. This good friend of mine named Ed Milet, Ed says this about adversity. Ed says life doesn't happen to you. Life happens for you. Everything in life, the good and bad, is happening for you to become a better version of you. But again, we're going through that adversity today to meet the best version of us. So let's start this story off about finding opportunity in adversity 16 years ago. The date is July 30th, 2008, almost exactly 16 years ago. On July 30th, 2008, I was sitting around this little rundown apartment in Dallas, Texas. And I was sitting on this little ratty old couch. And sitting right next to me on the couch that day was my meth dealer, this guy named Tex. Got y'all's attention now. Like, what? This is going down, y'all. 16 years ago, I am not the clean-cut, polished-looking guy you see in front of you today. Best-selling books, family man, businessman, college professor. None of that stuff is happening in my life 16 years ago, because 16 years ago, I am a full-blown meth addict, and I'm the head of an organized crime ring operating throughout the entire DFW Metroplex. I'm the top criminal in the organization, the shot caller, the boss. So there I am with my dope dealer. His name is Tex. And I'm telling Tex as we're passing this pipe back and forth, Tex, you don't want to be here, man. The cops are closing in on me. The end is near. 10 days before this guy that I was doing all these burglaries with in Dallas, my partner in crime, his name was Dustin. Dustin had been picked up by the Dallas Police Department in a stolen car 10 days before. So they got my partner in crime in custody, which means it's only a matter of time before they have me in custody. Because here's the truth about crime. Everybody talks. Everybody talks. It's human nature to save your own skin. And just as I pass that pipe back to Tex, the window on my right blows out and shatters. And then tumbling across that living room floor was a little canister going end over end, and it's smoking on one side. Y'all, I've seen this movie before. I know what this canister is about to do. And I tried to get out of there as fast as I could, but it was too late. Boom! The flashbang grenade blew up in my face. Bright white light, loud noise, blows me back on the couch. And when I came to, when I could see and hear again, there was a cop standing over me in full SWAT riot gear. His boot was on my chest, the barrel of an assault rifle digging in my eye socket. His fingers on the trigger, and he is screaming at the top of his lungs, "Don't move, don't move." I looked up the barrel of this gun, and I was like, man, don't worry, right? You got a gun in my eye. So the Dallas SWAT team floods into my apartment, and one of them screams out loud, "We got him. We got the Uptown Burglar." The Uptown Burglar, y'all. That's a name I'll live with for the rest of my life. About a dozen other meth addicts and myself, young and old, male and female, black and white, and everything in between, because drugs and addiction do not discriminate, y'all. But we indiscriminately and without reservation broke into the homes of dozens and dozens of people in the uptown neighborhood of Dallas and beyond to feed our insatiable meth habits. But on July 30th, 2008, the Uptown burglaries come to an end because they got their man. They got the mastermind of the entire thing zip-tied on the floor of a dirty old apartment. They took me to Dallas County Jail. They processed me into the jail. Fingerprints, mugshot. They throw me in a holding cell, and they set my bond at $1.4 million. This was the biggest bond in Dallas County at the time. 9,000 people in Dallas County Jail, y'all. One of the biggest jails in America. No one else had a bond that high. And my crimes are property crimes, y'all. No one was ever home to the burglaries. Never saw my victims. Didn't hurt anybody physically. They never saw me. These are property crimes around drugs. But Dallas County is sending me a very clear signal. You won't get out of this one, Damon West. We're going to take you to a very public trial and make an example out of you. And boy, did they ever. The trial takes place 10 months after my arrest. Y'all, if they can get you in a courtroom in 10 months, that's called the rocket docket. That means they want you in a trial. May 18th, 2009, the 6th and final day of my trial. Y'all, 6 days for a trial where no one got hurt, it means the evidence of my guilt is overwhelming. And the crime that I'm standing trial for this isn't a burglary case, y'all. This is the highest level of case they can bring against you. This is organized crime. This is RICO. And I'm the boss, and I'm going down in flames. And at the end of that long 6-day trial, the jury went to deliberate for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I don't know how much Law and Order you watch, but if a jury's gone for 10 minutes, it means they smoked you. The judge called the court back in. He said, Damon Joseph West, you are hereby sentenced to 65 years in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Y'all, 65 years in Texas is a life sentence in Texas. The jury gave me life that day. Now, obviously I didn't do all of that life sentence from inside of a prison cell, right? Because the Texas Department of Criminal Justice did not release me to San Benito just to talk to y'all today. That would be a cool prison job though, right? No, I made it out. That's what the story's about. I did 7 years and 3 months in a maximum security penitentiary in Beaumont, Texas, called the Mark Stiles Unit. Stiles and Beaumont, it's one of the toughest prisons in Texas, y'all. It's one of the toughest prisons in America, and I can tell you a lot with some authority about tough prisons in America because since I got out of prison 9 years ago, I went back to school. I got a master's degree in criminal justice, and I have become a professor at the University of Houston, get this, teaching a class called Prisons in America. How about that for flipping that script a little bit, right? I'm the only professor on earth to teach a prisons class at a university who lived in a prison. So I know about prison, y'all. In Stiles, where I did my time, it's as hard as it can get. So I was doing my time at Stiles. It's 2015 at this point in this journey. By 2015, I've become a model inmate. I've become a coffee bean. And I was working in the chapel as a chapel clerk. I got to work in the chapel, y'all. It's a great job. I'll never forget that day in 2015. Chaplain Vance came in. He was so excited. He said, West, security's looking for you, man. They just called your name on the radio. He said, the parole board is here to see you. Parole, y'all. That's the dream of every man and woman in prison. Your chance to get out, another chance at life. Y'all, I know I'm up for parole, but do I think I can make my first parole on a life at 7 years? No, absolutely not. No one makes that first parole. Just to survive the world that I'm in, I've told myself I'll be here for at least 10, maybe 15 years. But I go down to the parole office that day. I got a smile on my face, because that's what coffee beans do. We smile everywhere we go. The lady from parole called me in. She said, have a seat, Mr. West. She said, sit down. So I sat down in front of her. She has my criminal file in front of her. It's called your jacket. Your jacket has everything about you, your whole life story, every arrest, every felony. She's flipping through the pages of my jacket for about 20 seconds. She slammed that file shut and she pushed it away from her. She said, Mr. West, I came here from Huntsville to ask you one question for this parole hearing. She said, this is a one-question test, Mr. West, and the answer to my question will determine whether or not you go home or you stay in this prison. But the answer to my question, it's not in the file about the guy that I'm reading about who committed all those crimes in Dallas all those years ago. She said, we don't really get to see a lot of people like you come through the system, Mr. West, because you had it all. You had every advantage, every privilege, every opportunity over everybody your entire life. She said, you're the definition of a privileged person in America. She read the file right, y'all. She had me dead to rights. I grew up in this little southeast Texas town called Port Arthur. Port Arthur is all the way up the coast from here, right there where Louisiana and Texas touch on the Gulf Coast. Share the same Gulf Coast with y'all, the same mosquitoes too. Y'all got some mosquitoes here, just like we have in Port Arthur. Came from a great family, y'all. My mom and my dad were married for 55 years. I didn't know anything else but having two parents in the home. My mom was a school teacher and a nurse. My father was a sports writer. I was a good student growing up, but I was a great athlete. God blessed me with a cannon for a right arm, and this is Texas. We love our high school football in Texas, don't we? That's it, man. We love high school football. Yeah, I know. Grew up under the Friday Night Lights of Texas, y'all. I'm a Texas guy through and through. I was a 3-year starter for a 5A school. Scholarship to play football at the University of North Texas. Division I college football. By the time I'm 20, I'm the starter. I've taken over the team. And y'all, my head was this big. But life has a way of giving us these days that I call fork in the road days. The fork in the roads, well, you've all been through a fork in the road. That was a day life knocked you down really hard. You got back up, you dusted yourself off, but you made a choice at your fork in the road. You either made the right choice and went the right way, or the wrong choice and went the wrong direction. My fork in the road happens on September 21st, 1996. We were playing Texas A&M that day. Where's my Aggies? You got to let them whoop. They'll stop your whole presentation. I love the Aggies. I'm just playing. So we're playing Texas A&M that day, y'all. I'm 20. There I am on the field at Kyle Field, driving my team down the field against the Aggies. Third play of the game, I go down, career and an injury. Never play college football again. And when I get up to this fork in the road in life and football's gone, my identity was gone too. Because I wrapped my identity up into something external. And I get to this fork in the road in life and I made a lot of wrong turns, y'all. And this is where the drugs came in. I could not deal with life on life's terms. The disappointments of life, cocaine, ecstasy, pills. I was a very functional addict. I graduated college in 1999. Move off to, that's a weird spot to put a woo. I graduated college in 1999. I move off to Washington, D.C. I get a job working in the United States Congress. After that, I worked for a guy running for president of the United States. 2004, I've moved back to Dallas. I'm going to be a stockbroker for one of the biggest Wall Street banks in the world, UBS, United Bank of Switzerland. And it was at that job as a stockbroker in 2004 that my life and the lives of so many other innocent people would forever be changed. Let me take you back to that day in 2004. I was passed out of sleep at work. This other stockbroker comes in. He sees me sleeping. He wakes me up. He's visibly shaken. Damon, wake up. You can't sleep on this job. The markets are open. You're messing with people's money. They'll fire you if they catch you sleeping here. He said, come on down to the parking garage. I've got something that can pick you up. So, man, I follow this guy in the parking garage that day. We get into his nice little sports car. He hands me this glass pipe with these crystal rocks in it. I've never seen a glass pipe before. I'm like, man, what is that? He said, Damon, just relax. It's crystal meth. He said, you're going to love this stuff. Truer words have never been spoken, y'all. I did. I fell in love with crystal meth. It's the most evil, most destructive, most addictive drug ever created by man. It's made in a lab, made to get you hooked. Smoked it one time, I was instantly hooked, y'all. Just like that. And I could not give everything away fast enough for that drug because that is what addicts do. We give things away. Addicts give up their goals to meet their behaviors. I gave away my job, my home, my car, my savings account, my family, my tethering to God. In 18 months, I go from working on Wall Street to living on the streets of Dallas, Texas. I'm homeless, y'all. Living in dope houses, sleeping in people's cars. I become a criminal at this point. Petty crimes at first. Shoplifting, breaking into cars, breaking into storage units. Then I start breaking into people's homes. Now, y'all, this is where the crimes get serious. Because when I broke into my victims' homes, I didn't just steal property from my victims. I stole something way more valuable from my victims, something my victims will never be able to replace. That is their sense of security. And I can't fix that for them. I can't change it for them. I can't even apologize to them. The state of Texas told me it's a felony to apologize to the victim of a crime. In Texas, they send you back to prison if you reach out for an apology. So my victims are going to live with that for the rest of their lives. But after 3 years of committing property crimes against the people of Dallas, Texas, the Dallas SWAT team on July 30th, 2008, put an end to the Uptown burglaries, the day that they arrested me. Or the shift in mindset that looks for the opportunity in the adversity. I look back at July 30th, 2008, that's not just the day I was arrested, that was the day I was rescued. I got pulled out of a situation in life I couldn't get myself out of. The angels in my story don't have wings. My angels had assault rifles and shields and helmets. They came through the windows. They busted my door off the hinges. The Dallas SWAT team saved my life that day, y'all. They didn't just arrest me. It took me a long time in prison to figure that out too, y'all. So now the lady from parole was done going over my story. She said, Mr. West, I've been doing this parole thing a long time. This may be the most spectacular fall from grace I have ever seen. To go from where you were in life to having a life sentence in prison, it's astonishing because you had it all, but you threw it all away. You became a drug addict, you became a criminal, you became a thief. A jury in Dallas gave you life in prison for the things you did. But instead of letting that life sentence define you, you changed yourself inside this prison, Mr. West. She said there's no doubt about the change you made to yourself. But what got our attention, the reason why we're here today, is you didn't just change yourself while you were inside this prison. You changed the entire prison around you. One man changed an entire prison. So my question for you is this, Mr. West, and think very hard about this answer because your life depends on it. If you could be remembered for being anything in life, anything at all, she said, tell me what that would be, but give it to me in just one word, go. Y'all, I didn't have to think about that answer. I'd been living that answer the entire time I was in prison, and I fired her answer back to her immediately, and I told her, I said, useful. I just want to be useful, and I can be useful inside this prison, as you've already seen, or I could be useful in the free world, finding more coffee beans. November 16th, 2015. Another one of those days I'll never forget. Because on November 16th, 2015, I walked out of a Texas prison. But I'm not a free man. You're not looking at a free man in front of you. I got a little more time left on parole in Texas. I'm actually on parole until the year 2073. That's a lot of time, actually. It's 50 more years, right? But that's okay. I'm a coffee bean. The only way this coffee bean is going back to prison is when I go to prisons all over Texas. I share this story with the men and women inside those institutions to bring them hope on their journey, because that's the one thing every human being has to have is hope. And I walk out the front gate today because I'm a coffee bean. So let me tell you the story of the coffee bean and where I heard it from for the first time. Let's go back to the day I was sentenced to life in prison. May 18th, 2009. The judge reads the sentence out loud. Immediately, the sheriff is on me, the bailiff is on me, they're handcuffing me, they're getting me out of there. It happens fast, y'all, just like you see in the movies. I lock eyes with my mom on the way out. I'm like, Mom, I'm sorry. They whisked me out of there. They put me in this little side room. It's got a bulletproof glass. They told me to wait. A few minutes later, my mom and my dad are escorted in on the other side of the glass. They were giving my parents one last visit with me before I go to prison. They feel sorry for my parents because I just got life. My dad, my father, he can't talk. He is in stunned disbelief that his son, who once had all this promise in life, just received a life sentence in prison. So my mom does all the talking that day. And she said, baby, debts in life demand to be paid, and you just got hit with one heck of a bill from the state of Texas. She said, you did everything they said you did, though, Damon. So you have to go and pay that debt to society. She said, you owe Texas that debt. But now you owe your father and I a debt too. We gave you all the opportunity, love, and support to be anything you wanted to be in life. And that's how you repaid us what we saw in that courtroom? That's not going to work. We raised you in Port Arthur, Damon, a giant melting pot of a city. Gave you this great moral compass, but you chose to not use it. So here's the debt you're going to pay to us. When you go to prison, you will not get in one of these white hate groups, one of these Aryan Brotherhood type of gangs, because you're scared because you're the minority in there. It's not going to work, Damon. You were never raised to be a racist. You're not starting that stuff now. She said you will not get any tattoos while you're inside that prison. Y'all see any ink on me? Man, I spent almost 10 years in a supermax prison. I live with the lifers, the worst part of prison there is. No ink, no tattoos. And y'all, these guys in prison, they want to tattoo every inch of your body in the joint. These guys hit me up constantly in prison. Wes, let me put a tattoo on you, man. I tell them the same thing. Dude, I can't do it, man. My mom said no. It's the best I had. It's all I got. It's the truth, right? Here's a little known fact about prison. The busiest visitation day of the year in prisons all over America, Mother's Day. Mother's Day. The line's at the gate on Mother's Day. Those mothers will get to their children no matter what they have to do. The guys in prison let me make it because my mom told me not to get any tattoos. But my mom told me that day, she wasn't done. She said, Damon, No gangs, no tattoos. She said, you come back as the man that we raised, or don't come back to us at all. I was floored. She said, do you understand the debt you're going to pay to us? I said, yeah, Mom, I got it. But what do I know about prison, y'all? I've never been to prison. I don't know anybody's been to prison. I get back to my pod in Dallas County Jail. I got 2 months before the prison bus comes to get me, and I am frantically asking every guy that's been to prison before, how am I going to survive? What am I going to do? And every guy I talk to, y'all, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, they all say the same thing. You have to get into a gang. You cannot survive without a gang. They said the gang is your family now. But there was this one guy who was so different, y'all. This older black man named Muhammad. Muhammad was what you call a career criminal too. Muhammad, he'd been in and out of prison his entire life. But he was the most positive guy I've ever met in my life. He had a smile on his face everywhere he went. You couldn't knock the smile off of Muhammad's face. And every morning he'd come to my cell, to my bunk, and he would pick me up like a ray of sunshine in a dark place with his positive energy. So one morning, Muhammad comes up to my bunk. He's got a cup of coffee in his hands. He had a smile on his face. He said, West, I've been watching you. I've been watching how you're dealing with these knuckleheads and these dummies talking about you got to get into a gang. He said, don't listen to these fools. You want to keep that promise you made to your mom and your dad? Then let me tell you what prison's really going to be like. He said, the first thing you need to understand about prison, he said, prison is all about race. Race runs the whole institution inside of a prison because the inmates want it that way. He said, you are expected to break off with your own racial group and stay with that group the whole time you're there. So what I'm telling you is this. When you walk in the door, the white gangs get the first dibs on you because you're white. The Aryan Brotherhood, the Aryan Circle, the White Knights, the Woods. He said, you fight all the white gangs first. If you survive the white gangs, now the black gangs are coming. And the white gangs send the black gangs after you. The Crips, the Bloods, the Gangster Disciples. They're all going to be happy to tee off on this independent white guy who won't get with his own race and his own kind. He said, but if you survive all that, and you can survive all that, you'll earn the right to walk alone. He said the strongest man in prison always walks alone. He told me the truth about fighting, y'all. The truth that saved me back then, and it saves me now. Because he set the expectation right where it has to be on how you handle adversity. He said, you don't have to win all your fights, but you do have to fight all your fights. He said, some days you're going to win, some days you're going to lose. He said, it's okay to lose, just get back up. That's what he's telling me, y'all. Get back up. But y'all, when he's telling me this back in 2009, I'm looking back at this guy like a deer in headlights. All this violence and terror I'm about to walk into, that's when he's like, West. He said, let me break it down for you a different way. He said, I want you to imagine prison as a pot of boiling water. He said, anything we put into this pot of boiling water will be changed by the heat and the pressure inside this pot. He said, I'm going to put 3 things in this pot of boiling water and watch how they change. A carrot, an egg, and a coffee bean. Here's where I first heard the story of the coffee bean, y'all. The summer of 2009 in a jail cell in Dallas County Jail. Exactly 10 years before John Gordon and I wrote that book, The Coffee Bean, in 2019. So he said, first things first, West. If I put a carrot in that pot of boiling water, he said, what happened to the carrot? I'm like, Muhammad, the carrot's going to turn soft. He said, that's right, West. He said, but the carrot goes in the water really hard and firm. But the water, the prison, it'll turn the hard carrot soft and mushy and weak. He said, you don't want to be the carrot. He said, what about the egg? What happens to the egg in the pot of boiling water? I'm like, the egg is going to turn hard, Muhammad, like a hard-boiled egg. He said, that's right, Wes. He said, the egg has a shell that protects it physically. But inside that shell, that soft, liquid core, that yolk, that heart becomes hardened. He said, now, if your heart becomes hardened, you become incapable of giving or receiving love. He said, man, if you become incapable of giving or receiving love in the world you're going into, you don't come back as someone your parents recognize. You've become institutionalized and your eggshell has swastikas all over it. Then he asked me the question, He said, what about the coffee bean, West? He said, what happened to the coffee bean in the pot of boiling water? Y'all, I didn't have an answer from Muhammad on that one. I didn't know what happened to a coffee bean in a pot of boiling water. And that is when Muhammad, this man who looks nothing like me, this man who doesn't come from the same America that I come from, y'all, this man who doesn't believe the same things I believe in life, this is a black Muslim man from the streets of Dallas. I'm this white middle-class Christian from a little town called Port Arthur. But this man who is so different than me, he's about to share with me one of the most important and transformational messages I've ever received in my entire life. And the moral to that is this: if you ever shut yourself off to people because of their differences, different race, different gender, different ethnicity, different religion, different opinions, different political views, if you close yourself off to people because of their differences, you are going to miss some of the most important lessons and some of the best friendships in this life. Because Muhammad told me that day, he said, if I put a coffee bean in that same pot of boiling water we call prison, he said, now you have to change the name of the water to coffee. Because he said the coffee bean, West, the smallest of the three things, small like you, had the power to change the entire atmosphere inside that pot, because the power was inside the coffee bean. He said, just like the power is inside of you. He told me, everything else in life is changed by the water in life. Carrots are changed by the water. Eggs are changed by the water, but not a coffee bean. The coffee bean, he said, is the only thing that changes the water because it is the change agent. He told me, if you want to come back as someone your parents recognize, you got to be like that coffee bean. In fact, the last words he ever said to me, he's bonded out in Dallas County Jail. Summer 2009, he's getting ready to leave Dallas County Jail. The prison bus is coming to pick me up. He has 4 words for me on the way out the door. He said, hey, West, be a coffee bean. Be a coffee bean. The 4 words that changed my life. Because you know what those 4 words did for me? They put the power back inside me. And if the power was inside me, it can't be in the world around me. The criminal justice system, the guards, the other inmates, it was in me. It was the ultimate message that our world is created from the inside out and not the outside in. And if I could keep the power inside me, I wouldn't just survive prison, I could thrive inside of that prison. And I'm telling you all this today because I want you to know the power's inside you. It's not what goes on around you locally here in San Benito. It's not what goes on in the state of Texas. It's not what goes on with the crazy politics and social problems this country has right now. It definitely doesn't come from that place they call social media. It comes from within you. And if you can keep the power inside you, you don't survive adversity, you thrive in adversity. I know this for a fact because I took that coffee bean message to the biggest pot of boiling water there is. A maximum security level 5 supermax prison in the state of Texas. Okay, y'all want some prison stories now? People love prison stories. Good, because I got a lot of prison stories to tell. My parents were like that. When I got home from prison, all my parents wanted to do was watch prison shows with me. They wanted me to tell me who got it right? Oh, I'll tell you. I watched every single prison movie with my parents when I got home from prison. There's one movie out there that got it right. Shawshank Redemption. You ever seen Shawshank? One of the best movies ever. I'm going to tell you why I think it's the best prison movie ever. And I'm convinced that whoever consulted on the movie Shawshank had done a little time before. Because you know what they got right about prison? Prison is a hopeless place. That's why prisons get so dangerous, y'all. Because when you have a void of hope, negativity, evil, darkness fills that void. And you don't have to live in a physical prison to have no hope. There's a lot of ways to have no hope. The title of the movie, The Shawshank Redemption, the redemption part of the title, it's not about the character named Andy Dufresne. Remember Andy Dufresne? The innocent man that goes to prison. For 19 years, Andy tunneled through a wall to get to his freedom. He swam through 500 yards of sewage to get to his freedom. But Andy didn't need redeeming, Andy needed escaping. The redemption part of the title is for the character named Red. I'm going to tell you why the entire movie is about Red, Morgan Freeman's character. It's not even about Andy. Red, the narrator, when you meet him, Red is a dead man walking. All those men in Shawshank were dead. Remember that first scene when you meet them? All they're doing is gambling on who's going to break first. Remember Brooks? Brooks made parole. It took 50 years for Brooks to make it out. Brooks lasted 2 weeks in the free world. He hung himself. He wrote a letter back to the boys in Shawshank, told him what he did and why he did it. And as Andy read that letter out to the men in Shawshank prison, every man in Shawshank understood why Brooks did what he did, because they had the same hopeless mindset as Brooks. Red, our narrator, he explains it for us. He said, Andy, I couldn't make it out there either, Andy. I am an institutional man now, Andy. Red even said the words out loud for all of us to hear. He said, hope is a dangerous thing. Imagine you live in a world where you believe hope, the thing you must have, is dangerous. But what did Andy tell Red? Andy told Red, get busy living or get busy dying. And by the end of that movie, remember when Red gets out? For 40 years, Red was in prison. He makes parole. But we don't know if Red's gonna make it, right? Walks by the pawn shop, all the guns are in the window. He even stays in the same room that Brooks hung himself in. But Red makes it to that rock wall that Andy told him to get to. Remember when he gets to the wall and he finds the letter Andy left him? In that letter were those powerful words where Andy told Red, Red, hope is a good thing. Maybe the greatest of things. I want you to go back and rewatch that movie at the very end of Shawshank. Just watch the end of Shawshank. I want you to listen to the dialogue of the character named Red at the end versus Red at the beginning. Go back and watch that last scene on that beach in Mexico. Remember the beach in Mexico? Zihuatanejo. That's what kept Andy Dufresne alive. Andy could see himself in a different place. Andy saw himself in Zihuatanejo. That last scene of the movie when Red is on that beach and he sees his buddy, listen to what Red says. Every single sentence that Red says starts off with these two words. I hope. I hope I can make it across the border. I hope I can see my friend again so I can shake his hand. I hope the Pacific Ocean is as blue as it was in my dreams. I hope. Red had hope again. It was about Red's redemption, not Andy's. Prison was the hardest thing I've ever been through, y'all. It was the most hopeless world I've ever lived in. For the minute I walked inside that maximum security prison, first 20 minutes I'm there, I'm fighting with the Aryan Brotherhood. That lasts for about 2 weeks. Then it was the black gangs, just like Muhammad said. In the first 2 months of prison, I probably gotten in 36 fights and I lost 75% of those fights, y'all. I got my butt kicked all over prison. But do you know what I won? I won all my fights because I showed up to the fight. Because Muhammad told me, you don't have to win those fights. You just got to fight those fights. The same is true in life, y'all. No one counts your wins and losses. No one keeps track of that but you. But you know what everybody's watching to see? Does he or she get back up when adversity hits? If you want to win in life, just get up. That's the win. Some days it's just getting out of bed and putting one foot in front of the other. Whoa, almost fell off stage. Some days just putting one foot in front of the other. I got up every day, y'all. Fought for the first 2 months, and after 2 months of fighting, the violence was finally over, the threat to my physical safety was gone, and now I had to work on myself. It was hard, y'all. I totally underestimated how hot of a pot of boiling water prison would be. One of the last conversations I had with Muhammad in county jail, I asked him, I said, what will I find more of in prison? He told me you're gonna find more eggs. He said the egg is a natural evolution of any human being in any difficult situation. He said, you're going in the most difficult situation there is. He said, the truth is, West, you'll probably become an egg too. He was right. He was right about everything he said. But it was a conversation I had with my first cellmate in prison. This is Carlos, y'all. Carlos is about 5'4", a little Hispanic guy, a little bank robber from San Antonio. He was serving 99 years for a bunch of bank jobs he did. Super nice guy though, real good guy. I get it. But when you live with the lifers, you got to change your mind about who the good guys and bad guys are. You got to make friends with somebody, right? Carlos was a good guy. He's a bad bank robber, but a good guy, right? So late one night, I'm telling Carlos in our cell, I'm like, Carlos, I'm struggling, man. I can't figure out how to be a coffee bean. He said, what's a coffee bean? So I told Carlos the story of the coffee bean, and he told me, he said, the reason why you can't become a coffee bean is because the way you think. Y'all, your thinking is everything. He said, your problem is, Wes, you think prison is a punishment when you should be thinking prison is your opportunity. This took me back, y'all. No one ever once said prison could be an opportunity. He said, this is your opportunity, West, to work on yourself 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, become the best version of yourself possible. Then he repeated a sentence to me. He told me every single day we were cellmates. This same sentence he said his grandfather used to tell him. He said, hombre preparado vale por dos. He said, a prepared man's worth two. The next morning I got up and life changed forever. Because I stopped looking at prison as a punishment and I started viewing prison as my opportunity, y'all. I got up every day and I worked on myself in that dungeon. Days became weeks, weeks became months, months became years, but I finally cracked the code on how to be a coffee bean. And that's what I want to give y'all today for this school year, how I did it. Because here's what I believe. If I could do it in there, then you can do it out here. So let's go. First rule about being a coffee bean, have positive body language. Everywhere you go, smile. Man, your smile is powerful. When people see you smile, they smile back. It's a chain reaction of positive energy with the expression on your face. The lady from parole asked me about this. She said, Mr. West, you changed this prison around you. She said, how did you do that? I said, I did it with my smile. Because Muhammad told me in county jail. He said, West, you'll either infect a room that you walk into with your negative energy, or you will affect that room with your positive energy. You see, you infect or affect everywhere you go. You're the disease or the cure everywhere you go. So smile everywhere you go. Second rule about being a coffee bean. Oh, thanks. And they're smiling too. Good for y'all. Second rule about being a coffee bean. Work out on yourself every day in 3 different areas. Spiritually, mentally, physically. Every day make the time to work out your mind, your body, and your soul. Because here's the truth about life. You cannot give what you do not have. If you don't take care of yourself, you won't take care of anybody else. Y'all, I know this for a fact. You have more time on your hands than you can even imagine. If you don't believe me, check out your screen time report. We all have more time, don't we? People ask me all the time, well, Damon, what's your spiritual workout? I'll give you my spiritual workout. Every morning I get up and I say the same prayer I've been praying since I was in prison. Every single morning I get up, I ask God for 2 things, and that's it, all day. I get up and I say, hey, God, put in front of me what you need me to do today for you, and let me recognize that when I see it, because I don't want to miss whatever that thing is. Amen. Now I'm gone and I'm being useful again, y'all. That's my spiritual workout. Your mental workout. It's every book you read, the videos you watch, the websites you go to, social media. What do you watch for TV in your homes? Feed yourself positive stuff. Because you are what you eat is not just about food. It's everything you feed this brain of yours up here. And you will look like and act like on the outside whatever you feed this on the inside. So feed it the right stuff. Third rule about being a coffee bean. The secret to life. Y'all, I learned the secret to life in a Supermax prison. The secret to life is servant leadership. Servant leadership is helping other people reach their goals in life, helping to raise everybody up to a different station of life, because when we help other people grow, we grow too. When I was in prison, I got a letter from my favorite teacher growing up. Everybody in this room, you're educators, you got a favorite teacher, right? My favorite teacher was a guy named Mr. Jellett, 7th grade Texas history teacher. He wrote me a letter in 2011. I opened this letter up, and in that letter I'm reading in my prison cell, he's telling me, Damon, you've been to the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, but you've always bounced back. He said, I think you'll bounce back from this. And in that letter were the 4 words that every human being needs to hear. In fact, these 4 words usually come to us from a teacher or a coach. Y'all know what they are, right? I believe in you. My favorite teacher wrote me a letter and told me he believed in me. Now I knew someone believed in me. And he told me in that letter, he said, you should consider sharing your story with other people one day. You might be able to bring them hope when you turn this thing around. That was the seed that planted everything you see going on. He was a servant leader reaching out. When I was in prison, I thought to myself, all right, I want to serve other people one day out there, but what do I do to serve people right now in here? And it came to me. I opened up a tutoring session for the guys in prison, free tutoring for everybody there. I taught men how to read, I taught them how to write, how to do math. I got them ready for the GED test. So someday if they ever got out, they'd be a better husband or a better father. When I got out of prison, there were other people waiting to serve me. I learned a lot about servant leadership too from one of my favorite people growing up, Mr. Rogers. Anybody else watch Mr. Rogers? I love Mr. Rogers. So much about what I learned from Mr. Rogers didn't even come from the children's television show stuff. I found out this story about him. Did y'all know that before he was a children's television show guy, he was a Presbyterian minister? Yeah, in Pittsburgh. He told a story one time about this church service he goes to. He said he went to a church service one Sunday. There was a substitute preacher in town. So he sat to this substitute preacher's sermon. And at the end of this guy's sermon, Mr. Rogers thought to himself, that's the worst sermon I've ever sat through. He said it was the worst preacher he'd ever seen. He said half the congregation fell asleep on this guy. Just as Mr. Rogers is about to turn to the little old lady sitting next to him, because he's going to tell her how terrible the guy was, he stopped. He bit his tongue. Because the little old lady sitting next to Mr. Rogers is bawling and crying. She's in tears. She's shaking. And she told Mr. Rogers, that's the most beautiful sermon I've ever heard. She said, it's the absolute right thing I need to hear at the absolute right time in my life. She said, I'll never forget where I was this day that I heard this sermon. Mr. Rogers is floored. Clearly, the rest of the congregation does not agree with this woman, but he couldn't deny what he saw. And what he saw is that that man profoundly impacted this woman's life. He learned a very important lesson that day. He learned that while he was coming in judgment, that little old lady was coming in need. In need. Right now, at this time, in our American public education, so many people are coming in need. What do we do today to meet the needs of those other people? That's servant leadership, y'all. The three hardest words for a human being to say to another human being, I need help. I need help. But the truth is, we all need help, and we all struggle from time to time. Look for ways to serve other people and be kind to everybody you meet. Fourth rule about being a coffee bean. Understand what you do and do not control. Listen, y'all, this was a tough one for me. It took me going to prison to understand there's only 4 things you can control. And here's what they are. You can control what you think, the thoughts in your head. You can control what you say, the words that come out of your mouth. You can control what you feel. And what I mean, what do you do with your feelings? Are you vulnerable? When you go through stuff, do you have someone you talk to? If you don't, you should. Never suffer in silence. And the last thing you control, what you do. These are your actions. And most people see those, what you think, what you say, what you feel, and what you do. And if it's not one of those 4 things, you have no control over it. What I'm telling you is the world goes on around you. You can't control the world around you. But you can control the world inside you unless you allow another person, another group, a political party in this country to get inside your head. The minute you do that, you become a prisoner in your own mind. And let me tell you something about prison. You can take this from the guy that spent almost 10 years in the joint or the professor who teaches about the joint. The hardest prison to do time in is the prison in your mind. I meet more people out here in the free world who are locked up than I ever did when I served time in a real prison. Because more people are in prison by their thoughts and by their things than by steel bars and barbed wire and concrete combined. Don't you dare let this little thing make you a prisoner in your own mind. That's the hardest prison to ever get out of. And the last rule about being a coffee bean, it's my favorite. And I think it'll be yours too. It's that your past does not define you. I don't care where you've been, where you came from, what generation you are in this country, what side of the tracks you grew up on. Your past is your lesson. You learn from it. You teach other people with it. There's a reason why your windshield's bigger than your rear view mirror. You ever really thought about why it's set up that way? Because you can't do it the other way around, can you? You couldn't drive a vehicle going forward looking out the rear view mirror. If you did, you would get into a wreck, wouldn't you? You'd hit everything on the road in front of you because your eyes aren't on the road in front of you. The same thing happens in our lives if we live in our past. Let me show you what it looks like. You're going down the road of life one day. You look up in the rearview mirror. There's the past good things you've done that you're super proud of. You're going down the road another day. You look up in the rearview mirror. There's the past bad things you've done you're not so proud of. Get out of your rearview mirrors. All that thing is going to do is cause your present and your future to be a bunch of wrecks. Your past is your lesson. The present today is a gift. It's a gift because there's opportunities today. And the future is your motivation. Now listen, it's impossible for me to understand what motivates each and every one of you people in this room today. But I'm going to tell you something that's motivated me since I got out of prison. Finding my friend Muhammad. Anybody wonder what happened to Muhammad at this point? Everybody wants to know. It's the most frequent question I get. What is Muhammad doing now? Well, y'all, the truth is, I just recently found Muhammad. It was hard to find him because Muhammad's not his real name. That's his Muslim name. When a person converts to Islam, they get rid of their real name. They take on a Muslim name. Kind of like that guy did back in the 60s. Do y'all remember a guy named Cassius Clay? You might remember Muhammad Ali a little bit better, right? This Muhammad was no different. So I got out of prison. I went to Dallas County Jail. I said, hey, I'm trying to find my friend Muhammad. Dallas County Jail was super nice about it, but they're like, Mr. West, we can't find your friend with a Muslim name. We need a real name or a birthday. We need vital information, which I didn't have. So I had to hope that one day he could find me. Here's how he finally found me. 2 years ago, I got a letter from an inmate in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Y'all, I get a lot of inmate mail. Men and women all over the American prison system write me letters all the time. Because do you know who I am to every man and woman in prison? I am Hope. I am Andy Dufresne now. And I love my role as Andy. I write them all back. But this letter right here was different. No return address, had one sentence. The one sentence said this: find James Lynn Baker and you find Muhammad. There's the clue. Go to Dallas. I get with my lawyer. The lawyer gets a private investigator. The first thing the private investigator finds, James Lynn Baker's criminal record matched everything he told me. In and out of prison his entire life. Had him in county jail in 2009 when I was there. This is my friend. All we got to do now is find his current address. But we never could find his current address because James Lynn Baker II, Muhammad, he died on May 9th, 2017 in Dallas, Texas of an opiate overdose. He was a drug addict just like me, y'all, but he never got help for today. He never got into a program recovery. So now that I know who this guy is, this is the part of life called integrity. Integrity. Who we are when no one else but God is watching us. I think we all agree. I'm not here in life without that guy, right? I owe everything I have to this man right here. I've got to find a way to honor this guy. So I told my lawyer that day, all right, he's dead. Let's go find his family so I can honor him. You should have seen my lawyers. Anybody ever dealt with lawyers? My lawyer's like, why are we finding the family? Coffee Bean Guy's dead. You're the Coffee Bean Guy now. It's all yours, Naaman. His name is George. I'm like, George, stop. You're being ridiculous. God didn't bring it this far just to bring it this far. Let's go find his family. I know how I'm going to honor this guy. We found his family. Came from a dynamic family too, y'all. His little sister is a woman named Von Seal Baker. Von Seal Baker, the very first Dallas Cowboy cheerleader ever in 1972. First woman to ever wear that uniform. His mother, a woman named Bertha Baker, in 1948 opened up the first black daycare in Dallas. And the home he grew up, in fact, the home he grew up in is a landmark in Dallas. So I call up he's got 3 living sisters, Visha, Von Seal, and Vanessa. I called these ladies up one night. I told them the story. By the time I met their brother in Dallas County Jail, the message he gave me and what I was able to do with that message, both in prison and out of prison, I told the sisters, I said, I don't know what your feelings are about your brother and the choices he made in life, but let me tell you something I know about your brother that you don't know. Your brother impacted at least one person while he was on this planet, me. And I'll go impact the entire planet with the message he gave me. And I asked the sisters, I said, what high school did y'all go to growing up? You know, when James and I were in county jail together, he told me a little piece about his life. One of the things he told me, he was from the poorest most rundown, most urban, most inner city part of Dallas. And the sisters confirmed that when they told me, Dallas Lincoln High School. Y'all, Dallas Lincoln, that's as inner city as you get. That is South Dallas, y'all. Told the sisters, I said, great. Here's what I'm gonna do at Dallas Lincoln High School. Every year for the rest of my life, I'm gonna put $10,000 into a trust for a scholarship in your brother's name. We'll call this thing the James Lynn Baker II Be a Coffee Bean Scholarship. And I would love if your family would pick the winner every year so that every year one little boy or one little girl that grows up in his old neighborhood, they get a better chance at life through education, because these two guys met up in Dallas County Jail in 2009. Y'all, the sisters took me up on it. 2 years now, we got 2 winners. Let me tell you about one of the winners of the scholarship. This little girl named Megan. Megan's mother's a school teacher. Her dad, a disabled veteran. Right now, Megan is sitting in classes at Texas A&M. Megan is gonna be an engineer one day, y'all. Yes, yes. Finally, I finally found Muhammad. It took 7 years to find my friend. It took 7 years to get out of a maximum security prison. Some of your goals in life are gonna take you longer than others, but don't you dare quit. Don't you give up before it happens. Don't you quit before you round up that success, y'all. So let's wrap this up with a call to action. It's this. Life is a pot of boiling water. You already know it though. It's harsh, it's stressful, it's difficult. You got 3 choices. That's it. You can be like the carrot that turns soft and mushy and weak. Or you can be like the egg that turns hard and mad and mean and angry. Or you can choose to be like that coffee bean that changes that pot of boiling water into a pot of coffee. So my call to action to each and every one of y'all is the same call to action Muhammad gave me 15 years ago when the prison bus came to Dallas County Jail to pick me up to serve my life sentence in a Texas maximum security prison. My call to action to you, you go out there and you go be a coffee bean. Be a coffee bean, y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank y'all so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank y'all very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you so much. Y'all. Thank you very much, y'all. Thank you. Thank y'all so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank y'all so much. Y'all been great. Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, San Benito, let's give Mr. West a big round of applause. Some great words of inspiration for us every single day that we can use not only in our careers, but also in everyday life. Thank you, Mr. West, for that. Next this afternoon, we have our annual welcome of our Board of Trustees. We're going to begin with words from our board president, Mr. Orlando Lopez, and then we'll follow with one of his videos. So at this time, please welcome our board president, Mr. Orlando Lopez.
Good afternoon, everyone, and I promise I'm not going to take very long. But first and foremost, yes, I did record my. Oh, thank you, appreciate it. I did record my message today, but my work schedule allowed me to be here, and I couldn't pass up this opportunity to welcome each and every one of y'all. So, without further ado, on behalf of the Board of Trustees and myself, it's an honor and a blessing to be here before you to welcome each and every one of y'all back. I want to God bless you guys on an amazing year. It's going to be a new chapter, and this is just the way it needs to go. Okay, you have all our support, but without moving forward here, I just want to say one thing, and I want to have a special round of applause for our lone finalist, Mr. Fred Perez. So once again, we never really get together in the beginning of the year. This is one of the only times we get to see you all in a group. But once again, on behalf of the board, God bless each and every one of y'all, and you all have a gold standard of a year. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I want to start by welcoming each and every one of y'all back. The start of a new school year always brings a mix of excitement, anticipation, and perhaps a little bit of nervousness. But standing here today, I feel a deep sense of pride, confidence in the incredible team that has been assembled. Over the summer, as you took time to recharge, reflect, I know many of us also spent hours thinking about how we could make this year even better for our students. You are not just educators, you are mentors, role models, and guides. The work you do here shapes the future in the ways that are profound and lasting. I encourage each and every one to embrace the possibility this new year brings. Let's approach each day with open minds, open hearts, ready to inspire and to be inspired. Let's continue to build a future where our kids, our students feel seen, heard, and valued. I also want to remind you that your well-being is just as important as the well-being of our students. Take care of yourselves and each other. We are a team. Our strength lies in our collective commitment, excellence, compassion, and growth. As we embark on this journey together, let's make this year one that we can look back with pride. Let's challenge ourselves, push boundaries, and create a learning environment that are dynamic and diverse and the world our students will inherit. Thank you for your dedication, your passion, and your unwavering commitment to our students and this community. I'm excited about what we will accomplish together this year. Let's make this year great. Good luck, God bless, and take care.
Welcome back. As we embark on a new academic year, I want to take a moment to thank each of you for your hard work and dedication to the students of San Benito CISD. Your passion for our students' success is truly inspiring. This year, let's continue to foster a supportive and collaborative environment where we can all grow and thrive. Let us make sure to always be there to help one another. Together, we can overcome any challenges that may arise. As we prepare for the first day of classes, make sure to set high expectations for yourself and for your students. As we work together, we will be able to provide the gold standard of public education for the students of San Benito. Let's have a great year.
At this time, we have board members that are here live and will be giving some words of encouragement and welcoming for everyone. We'll begin with Mr. Fructuoso Gomez.
Good afternoon and welcome back. It was just like yesterday we were here a couple of weeks ago, then we're back. So good luck for this year. Let me start off real quickly and I'll try to be short. I wrote down some little things that I thought needed to be brought forward, not because I think it's just a word of encouragement. Let me say something else here before. Miss Noemi Leal, is she here? No, that was her birthday. I mean, okay. Anyway, let's get started. As a board of trustee, I stand before you today with immense gratitude for the untiring work each one of you put into each day and excitement for the undertaking you will continue to do in the 24-25 school year. Our schools are not just buildings. They are sites where knowledge blooms, curiosity thrives, and you, the teachers, shape the future of our students. Let's remember a few things. Each and every student matters. Each child who walks through your doors brings a unique story. Some may need an extra dose of encouragement, while others may surprise you with their hidden talents. But all matter. Kindness matters the most. Sometimes all it takes is a warm smile, a listening ear. Our students will remember not just what you are teaching, but how you make them feel. This year, let this be our motto. Let kindness be our guide. Here in San Benito, we're a family. Let us collaborate, share ideas, and celebrate victories, big or small. You already have what it takes to accomplish this in Mr. Perez. In closing, please remember that you are not alone. The board, parents, the entire community stands with you and behind you. To every single employee here today, I wish you a wonderful and successful year. Thank you, and God bless upon you. Blessings upon you. Go Hounds. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. On behalf of the other board members, they wish everyone a very great new year, the 2024 year. So let's give our board members a big round of applause for always standing and supporting us as employees. Thank you. Now I want to welcome to the podium our acting superintendent of schools and soon to be the permanent superintendent of San Benito CISD, the lone finalist for the job, Mr. Fred Perez.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're almost done. I know it's hot. Note to self, next year we'll be in the morning again. But thank you for everybody for being patient. It is with great excitement and a deep sense of purpose that I stand before you today to welcome each and every one of you to the start of a new school year. As your superintendent, I am honored to be part of this remarkable journey we are embarking on together. First and foremost, let us extend a heartfelt welcome to our new educators, staff, who are joining us for the first time. We are thrilled to have you as part of our family. We look forward to the fresh perspectives and energies you'll bring. To our returning members, welcome back. Your dedication and commitment to our students and to each other have always been the cornerstone of our success, and I am excited to see what we can achieve together this year. As we gather here today, we are standing on the brink of a new chapter, full of opportunities and possibilities. This year, we have the chance to build on our success and learn from our challenges, and most importantly, to continue shaping the future of our students. Our mission remains clear: to be the gold standard in public education. This year, I challenge each of you to set ambitious goals, not just for yourselves, but for our students that we serve. Let's strive to create classrooms where curiosity is sparked, where every voice is heard, and every student feels valued. Let's work together to build a community where our collaboration and the respect are the norms, and where we support one another in a shared mission. Remember, education is not just about teaching TEKS. It's about inspiring a love of learning, instilling confidence, and preparing our students to navigate a world that is continuously evolving. We need to create an environment where every child feels empowered to dream big and work hard to achieve those dreams. If we do that, our students will always be successful. As we embark on this new year, let us carry forward the spirit of optimism and resilience that defines our community. Let's embrace each new day with enthusiasm, knowing that our collective efforts make a difference in the lives of our students and in the future of this community. In closing, I want to express my deepest gratitude to each of you. Your dedication, passion, and hard work are why this district is a special place. Together, we are not just preparing students for the future, we are shaping it. I do want to take some time to thank the board for having the confidence in me. I'm just looking at the crowd and all the faces that I know, 16 years, that's a lot of time I've had to learn, a lot of connections I've gotten to make. I tell you all, I know I was at campuses this week. If I haven't made it to your campus, we'll be out there on Friday. But the message is the same. We're a family. It's going to take a lot from all of us working together. You know, I mentioned to a couple of campuses, guys, we're not in competition with each other. We're in competition with other districts. We were at the brink of being the district everybody wanted to be a part of, every student wanted to come to. Right before COVID, I know COVID threw a little curveball, but we need to get back on track. There's a lot of work to do. I am 100% confident in all of you that we're going to get the job done. I just ask for your support. You know, I have an open door policy. A lot of you have called me, let me know if I can ever do anything for you also. I think we're going to have a wonderful year. I think we have people in the right places. We have a school board that supports us, and it's gonna be a great year. So thank you all. God bless you all, and let's have a great year.
Thank you, Mr. Pettis. We look forward to your leadership this year, and I know that every single one of us in this room is as dedicated as you are to ensuring that we are the gold standard of all areas of public education in San Benito. So go, Hounds, go, Mr. Pettis. Now, I want to go ahead and introduce our recently named Assistant Superintendent for Academic Services, Ms. Delia Cornett, to the podium as she's going to present the District Teachers of the Year presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my true honor to be here today to introduce our 2025 District Elementary and Secondary Teachers of the Year. Selected to represent San Benito CISD at the Region 1 ESC Secondary Teacher of the Year Banquet and Awards, we congratulate and welcome her to the podium to share her back-to-school message. Please help me welcome Collegiate Academy Teacher and District Secondary Teacher of the Year, Ms. Jennifer Esquivel.
Good afternoon, everyone. As I stand up here today, I look out into the audience and I'm overjoyed to see family, friends, and colleagues. It is truly an honor to stand before you today as the San Benito CISD Secondary Teacher of the Year. I will be honest with you all. As I was preparing for today, I was having a hard time trying to find the right words. I kept asking myself, what could I possibly say to a group of educators that have all had very different experiences in their careers? Well, I truly believe that God has a plan for everyone. I was at work this past Saturday getting my classroom ready, as most of us usually do before the school year. You know how at the end of the year, when we are all packing, we just start shoving things in the closet? I know I'm not the only one that does that. Well, let's just say this past Saturday, I was dealing with that poor decision from May. So as I was cleaning out things, I came across a few books from my personal little classroom library. As I was returning them to the shelf, I noticed one had a folded piece of paper inside. When I opened it, I saw that it was actually a little self-made craft from one of my students for Teacher Appreciation Week. The card read, "Mrs. Esquivel, thank you for allowing me to come to your class and feel like a normal kid. You are my favorite teacher, and I appreciate you more than you know." The card continued with this student explaining a little of the home situation and what they had been going through. As it turns out, this entire year, this child had been dealing with so many things that I had not known about. I would never have suspected that the student was dealing with so much, as they had never shown any signs of struggle or distress throughout the year. This was actually an exemplar student, one who had straight A's, was a very kind and compassionate child, and was always willing to help out. I was very saddened to read about the reality that they faced every day after leaving school. And this may be the case for many of our students. So often, we may never know what they are truly dealing with. We may never know what they go home to after they leave our classrooms at the end of every day. Now, I may not have known the specifics of what this child was dealing with during the year, but here's what I do know. I do know the type of environment that I provided for that student every day in my classroom. I do know that this child felt safe and welcomed. I do know how I treated that student and every other that walked through my classroom door. And I do know that it did make a difference. Now, I'm not sure why this student chose not to give me the card personally. Maybe it is something as simple as that the student forgot. Or maybe I was just meant to find that card this past Saturday as I cleaned out my classroom. But it is the moments like this, the little reminders that keep me in the classroom, and remind me of why I chose to be a teacher in the first place. Now, we've all heard this before. We live it every day. Teaching is hard. Education is hard. And the system is ever changing, so we need to be ready to adapt. It is never easy, and nobody will truly understand that statement unless they themselves have been on the front lines with the students. But I guarantee you, if you walk away with nothing else today, please remember this. Students will remember tomorrow the way you made them feel in your classroom today. A teacher's influence goes beyond the four walls of the classroom. It is more than grades and scores. What you say to students will leave a lasting impact on them for the rest of their lives. A few weeks back, I read a story about some little bees. You may have heard this story before, but I only recently came across it. Basically, there was a beekeeper who would collect honey from the hives. One day, unfortunately, there were 3 little bees that were drowning in the honey. The child of the beekeeper saw this, and they insisted for something to be done to help the dying bees. The father agreed to help, and so the little bees were placed outside in an empty yogurt container and were left to their fate. After a short while, the 2 went back to check on the bees and found that the other healthy bees had surrounded the ones who were dying. They were all helping and cleaning the honey off of the wings and the bodies of the dying bees to help them survive. Those 3 little bees could have died that day, but they didn't. Those bees survived because they were surrounded by their family and friends who would not give up on them. Family and friends who refused to let them drown and resolved to help until the last little bee could be set free. What a great story and such a powerful message. We can all do so much when we work together. So today I challenge you all to not only find your own little group that will never let you drown, but to also be that support system, not only for your students, but for each other as well. When you help each other, support each other, and lift each other up, everything else will fall into place. Now, I would like to give a shout out to my first home in San Benito, back 18 years ago where it all began, where I started as a paraprofessional, and where I found my very first group of supportive honeybees. To my Riverside family, you all have always been there for me during some of the most difficult times in my life, as well as some of the happiest. You will always, always be family, and I am so lucky to have been given the opportunity to work with so many of you all. Thank you for your never-ending support. And to my collegiate family, who I was blessed to have found in you all another supportive group of colleagues and friends who have encouraged me and provided me with so much support this past year. Change is very hard, but you all made it so much easier. And I thank you so much for all of your positivity. And to everyone else across the district whom I've had the pleasure of working with, whether that be in summer school, at trainings, or anywhere else, to all of the teachers, the entire English department across the district, and all the supportive staff and administrators, I am a better educator today because of you. Thank you for your support and for helping me grow as a teacher along the way. You are the reason why I am standing here today. May God bless each and every one of you, and may we all have a wonderful school year. Thank you.
We're going to compose ourselves. Thank you, Mrs. Schema, for making a difference. On August 1st, San Benito CISD guests attended the Region 1 Teacher of the Year Banquet and Awards. As the time came to announce the selection of the Regional Elementary Teacher of the Year, the San Benito CISD guest table erupted in excitement and cheers. as the Master of Ceremonies announced that San Benito CISD's very own Ms. Brienne Castillo as the 2025 Region 1 Elementary Teacher of the Year. This is the first time in over a decade that a San Benito CISD teacher has been selected as a Regional Teacher of the Year. Ms. Brienne Castillo will advance to the TSA Texas Elementary Teacher of the Year selection process in this fall. It is with immense pleasure and pride. Please help us welcome our District Elementary Teacher of the Year and now the Regional Elementary Teacher of the Year, Ms. Brienne Castillo from Sullivan Environmental Science Academy.
Good afternoon, esteemed members of the board, Superintendent Bettis, friends, and colleagues. It is my honor to have the opportunity to address you all today. More often than not, in messages such as this, we hear amazingly compelling stories about how us teachers have inspired a particular student. Individuals go on to achieve great things because a certain teacher believed in them or guided them along the way. My story is vastly different. I wish to share with you how one of my students not only inspired me to be a better teacher, but literally changed the way I see the world and my role in it. Before I begin, I would like to ask you to think about what the word enough means to you. The dictionary defines enough as in or to a degree of quantity that satisfies or that is sufficient or necessary for satisfaction. I think it is safe to assume that at one point in our lives, we all wished for exactly what we have right now: to be a teacher, an administrator, a school board member, husband, wife, parent, etc. Yet, it seems all too often what we once wanted more than anything is no longer enough. As teachers, we technically work 187 days out of the year. That means that we have 178 days off with salary and full benefits. Yet, many times we complain about the workload, expectations, another digital platform, class size, meetings, trainings, and more. As consumers, we may want a bigger car or house or the recognizable luxury brand purse or shoes. When is it enough? As we start another school year, I wish you enough. I wish you enough ungraciousness to cultivate gratitude for where you are and what you have. I wish you enough pressure to do your job better than you have ever imagined possible. I wish you enough challenges to sharpen your grit. I began to truly understand this concept, this lesson of enough, 2 years ago when a very special student named Natalia came into my classroom. On the first day of school, like all the other students, she arrived in new back-to-school clothes, her hair tied neatly in a ponytail adorned with a bow, and ready for kindergarten. What Nati didn't have that all my other students did was the use of her eyes. Nati is a student with a visual impairment. From day one, her determination was profound. She navigated the classroom with a grace and a confidence that left me in awe. She never asked for special treatment. She simply wanted to learn, to explore, and to experience the world in her own extraordinary way. She taught me that limitations are often self-imposed, and that true vision doesn't always come from our eyes, but from our hearts. One day during a science lesson, I noticed her fingers delicately tracing the raised lines of a tactile diagram. Her face lit up with understanding and joy. In that moment, I realized that she wasn't just learning from me, I was learning from her. She showed me the power of perseverance, the importance of adaptability, and the beauty of seeing the world through different lenses. She put everything into perspective for me. She reminded me why I became a teacher in the first place. It's not about imparting knowledge from textbooks. It's about inspiring, nurturing, and believing in the potential of every student. It's about creating an inclusive environment where every child feels valued, seen, and capable of achieving greatness. Teaching her taught me that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. Her presence in my classroom was a daily reminder that education is not a one-size-fits-all journey. It is a mixture of diverse experiences, strengths, and stories that enrich our collective understanding and compassion. She taught me that students come with enough. As I reflect on my journey as an educator, I am filled with gratitude for the lessons my students have taught me. This story is just one of many that have shaped me into the teacher I am today. Each student brings a unique light, and it is our duty to help them shine as brightly as possible. In conclusion, in the words of an unknown author, I wish you enough sun to keep your attitude bright, no matter how gray the day may appear. I wish you enough rain to appreciate the sun even more. I wish you enough happiness to keep your spirits alive and everlasting. I wish you enough pain so that even the smallest of joys in life may appear bigger. I wish you enough gain to satisfy your wanting. I wish you enough loss to appreciate all that you possess. And I wish you enough hellos to get you through your final goodbyes. Love you, Mom. Thank you, Nati, for showing me the true meaning of resilience, passion, and the boundless potential that lies within every student. And thank you to all of my students, past and present, for being my greatest teachers. Thank you to the two remarkable leaders who have greatly influenced my journey. To Mrs. Atkinson, whose guidance and support during your tenure were foundational in shaping my teaching career. Thank you for your unwavering belief in my potential. I also want to extend a heartfelt thank you to Dr. Claiborne. Your continuous support, encouragement, and leadership have been essential in my development and success. Your commitment to excellence has inspired me daily and has played a significant role in impacting my professional journey. And to my CESA family, for being such an inspiring and supportive community, your influence and your support has been instrumental. And thank you to all of you.
Again, we want to congratulate both Ms. Esquivel and Ms. Castillo on representing the district at the Region 1 Area Teacher of the Year selection. We are also wish the best of luck to Brianne Castillo at the Texas State selection for Elementary Teacher of the Year. The last time that we had a San Benito CISD teacher selected at the regional level, they went on to be selected as the state teacher of the year. That was Mr. Han back at high school as a secondary teacher of the year for the state of Texas. So I think the luck and everything is going for Brianna. So we wish Brianna the best of luck. Again, congratulations, Brianna, for representing San Benito CISD. And now Region 1. Thank you. At this time, we'll have Mr. Perez come up and do some closing remarks and remind us of some of the scheduled trainings we have for the rest of the week, what the rest of the week looks like, and then we're going to close out with our traditional alma mater for the year. Again, Mr. Perez, please join us at the podium.
Thank you, Luis. It's real difficult to speak after hearing stories with a knot in your throat, but that's what San Benito is. It's family. And as you heard, it's working together It's what we do for our kids. Our kids deserve it, just like every other one. 16 years ago, my wife and I moved to this district, and I started teaching here, and it was evident that I was bringing my children here. It's just a place for you to be. For those of you that don't live in the district and bring your children here, I thank you. It's a good place for kids to be. We will take any one of your children because we need the ADA. But if you're a district employee, bring your children here. It's a good place to come. I'm blessed to have my son working here. I'm blessed to have my wife still working with us, and a son at the high school that is here. My daughter was a graduate. I love this district. I truly do. So, together we can do a lot, guys. I've seen where we've had ups, we've had downs. I don't want to get into the finances of things, but just remember, Esther is gone, so these last couple of years have been tough. We were getting that extra little cash for a reason, because we were trying to keep teachers in Texas. So, but we're going to try to do other things, like jeans on Thursdays and Fridays. Like athletic or tennis shoes all week long. They may be little things, guys, but we're going to try our best to keep everybody happy and see what else we can come up with. It's going to be a difficult year, but I'm confident that we're going to be all right at the end of this year. As you get back into the classrooms, it was so exciting to walk the halls and see teachers back into the swing of things. It's not a good feeling for those of us that walk the campuses in the summer and it's a ghost town. So I like to see the life coming back into the classrooms. The kids will be here on Monday, big smiles, open arms. We will see you all out there. Again, we're here for you. My message from the leadership down is that we're here to support you. You all in the classrooms, the daily grind, that's my job. My job is to support you, not the other way around. And that's my expectation from the top down. So, guys, we're going to have a wonderful year. We'll be waiting for those kiddos on Monday. Be out there, be greeting them, make connections with those families. That's what it's about. A lot of the families that come to us, I get calls all the time from Sullivan parents or Cash parents or La Encantada parents, and I tell them all the time, I like to hear the messages. It's great that you're telling me that they have an awesome teacher or an awesome principal, but we want that. We want them to be in our community. We want them to be part of your campuses. So I think together, all of us working together, this whole community, we can do it. So have a wonderful year. God bless you all, and go Hounds.
Before we dismiss, a couple of housekeeping items. Don't forget, tomorrow and Thursday, we do have district in-services. Their schedule was sent out to you, and please register accordingly to your assignment or to your profession, and all the information is there for you for the next couple of days. And then Friday we do work day, and we meet the teachers. Meet the teachers across the district. So within 3 days, we got to prepare for the 2024-2025 school year and our students. So with that said, everybody please stand so we can do our traditional San Benito High School alma mater, because football season's around the corner. Time for Go Hounds Go. So now our alma mater.